Hi. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the EverQuest stream here with the Daybreak team. I'm Schueller. Some of you know me as Roshen on the forums. The team is going to briefly introduce themselves and chat a little bit about some of the things they have going on.
I'm Holly Longdale. I'm now the executive producer of EQ and EQ2. No. And this guy is.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Caraker. I'm the lead designer on EverQuest. I go by Prathun on the forums, and I've been here about almost 13 years.
Bragger. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Jenn. I'm the technical director for EverQuest and EverQuest 2.
I'm Ed Hardin. I'm the spell designer, build master, and do other things on EverQuest. I go by Aristo on the forums, and want to point out that Holly actually interviewed me for my apprentice job on EverQuest in 2007.
And I asked you a horrible question, didn't I?
Oh yeah, but you asked everybody that.
Right. Well, I'm just horrible to everyone. Yay.
Hi, I'm Kevin Lydy. I'm the art lead on EverQuest.
Okay. I think before we
Amazing
go
art lead on EverQuest.
Sure, here's that $50.
Thank you.
before we get into some of the questions everyone asked in the forums, I think some people want to chat briefly about some of the things that you guys have been working on.
Yeah, go ahead, Jonathan.
So we are super excited about the update. I think it's tentatively scheduled for next week. We've got a whole bunch of good bug fixes going in, which is great every month. But more importantly, I'm excited to see the player design missions.
Himself on camera.
Yes. I'm excited to see that the player design missions come out. We worked on those for a couple years now. These are going back to 2014. We collected some of these from people at SOE Live, and we'll be excited to put those in game. I think we've got 7 new ones coming out, and maybe we can tease some of those later, but you'll see them very soon for the 16th anniversary.
Awesome. And then April, or plan for the March update. Go ahead, Jen, talk about the loot system.
So the loot system, as you heard just now, is not planning on going out next week. We are planning on releasing the brand new, advanced, revamped loot system in March.
Woo!
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, we even got some off-camera enthusiasm.
So if you want to get on the test server and help us out and start building your item lists, that'd be a great chance to do it. So pop on the test server, submit to the /bugs, talk with us on the forums. We'd really love to get your input and just really want to get all those bugs out before we release it to live.
Yeah, and go ahead, Ed.
We came up with a solution that was kind of staring us in the face for TwinCast issues earlier in this month, and so this month I'm excited that we're going to be able to have the Druid and Ranger twin nukes fully focusable, but only the base nukes will TwinCast again, and the Wizard multicast nukes will only be using one charge of TwinCast when they get TwinCast. And finally, the RS pets, the swarm pets, will not be using TwinCast charges when they fire. I was able to get that in yesterday since the patch is not till next week.
Nice.
So yeah, in about 160 hours.
That's pretty
because
good.
math.
You should be able to see those on live, and they'll be on test pretty soon, the changes that aren't there yet.
That is so awesome that 160 hours. That is brilliant. Kevin, anything?
Sure.
Sing a song.
Yeah, we got a lot of really cool stuff in the pipeline. Cool zones, cool new Heroes Forge stuff, cool NPCs. So there's a lot of really neat stuff coming, and can't wait to see it out there.
Before, we're going to get into questions here that Rye thankfully has collected for us. Just to introduce myself a little bit, and there's a question about what the vision is from my perspective. My perspective is what we are as a team and as a game. It's not my vision, it's the collective vision. We had an amazing, there's been a lot of meetings, less meetings, more brainstorming. They're getting me reacquainted and familiar. It's super awesome to work with they're like my long lost family, not lost. A terrible thing to say. My amazing family that I'm getting familiar with again. And with that, it's been a lot of incredible creative discussion. Of course, I posted, we recognize it's a little vague because we're kind of cleaning the slate, resetting. As we mentioned, it's all about what is the plan for the expansion. We'll get into that, not a lot of detail other than we're examining what is the right thing to do. The vision is, what is kick-ass fun? What is what we want to do as a team? What has been on their dream wish list for a while? And a lot of that, as we go through this list, the awesome thing is we were all meeting this morning. We talked about just about every one of these things on this list before we saw this list. So it seems to me the community and the team are very much on the same path in their thinking, including things they don't want to do again, as well as things we want to do better. So it's an ongoing commitment, and we're hashing out what we want to do. So with that in mind, we can just go for it. And when we're talking about vision and things like that, I'm not a creative force on this team. This is a collective process. Everyone has a voice. Everyone's busy. I'm pointing over there because that's where the EQ team is right now. But I just picked a few people because there's a lot of energy and a lot of moving forward and a lot of planning and people coming up with ideas, and then we're going to start hammering it out here. Well, we have been, and we're going to get some plans pretty quickly here. And that's why I wanted to address, there's going to be the February update, there's going to be the March update, and then we're really examining 100% what the right thing to do is for the game and for fun. It's all about fun. What do we wanted to do as developers that we're passionate about, but also answering a lot of the questions you've had. So moving on with that, plans for the next expansion. The question is, would you consider pushing the release of an expansion back if it means the expansion is a better product? Absolutely. So it's not lost on this team, and certainly not on me either. Every developer wants to do more, and we always want more time to do it. What we're going to refocus on is what is absolutely the right thing to do for the game, for the players, for the fun, for character growth, for all the things that is important for these guys. And then we're going to hammer out a plan and share it with you. We're not going to wait until 2 months before it's supposed to come out. We're going to be fairly transparent about what the goal is. I think you'll probably hear from these guys as we talk a bit more now. The goal is content and making sure it's good content, and we do everything to support the content. Of course, that has 5,000 different shades. What a weird week to say that. 50 shades of content. But yeah, it's 100% commitment, and there's some really fabulous ideas coming that, we're not pushing EQ into new territory. It's doing what we know is our bread and butter. That's the awesome core fun of the game, and these guys will be spreading the love and the news as we get it. So expansions are definitely coming. We're going to take the time we need to do the right expansion. That's an important message we want to send. So yeah, there is no date right now. We're not in a position where here's the date you're launching, put something together that fits in that time frame. It's an exploration right now. So we have no dates, but an expansion will come. We're all confident about that. And then there's some detail. So the next one I'm going to hand off to these guys to discuss a little bit, because again, these came up this morning, which is kind of awesome. So will the Daybreak dev team reevaluate some of the changes we saw during the Darkened Sea launch? We discussed the experience reductions this morning and the complications with it, but it's going to be a conversation we have again because we know it's been a pretty obvious
sticking point.
But go ahead, Jonathan. You want to talk about the complexities of it, and that we do want to do the right thing.
Yeah, we want to make sure, most importantly, that there is a commensurate reward. So doing more difficult stuff should be more rewarding. And EQ is a very experience-driven game. A lot of what we do in EQ is to get more levels and to get more AA. So we want to make sure that we have not created a situation where it is not valuable to go to the newest stuff because you want to go back and do the old stuff. We want to make sure that the reward is balanced in that way. We want to keep the amount of time that it takes to get to level 105 about what it is now. We don't want to change that. And third, we don't want to invalidate pre-existing content. We want that to still be relevant. So that is the trick, and we are open to solutions that fulfill those goals, and we'll talk about that more in the future.
Yeah, and for my brain power that doesn't extend to the level of these guys, especially this week, the message is we're going to look at it, and it's not a simple, like, let's tweak a number. It's a much bigger issue, as I'm sure you can all appreciate, with a game of this scope and magnitude and experience across 105 levels. It's a pretty crazy thing. And again, I don't think anyone out there wants us to trivialize content, because that's no fun for anybody. The next one is lockout timers on heroic adventures. Do you want to talk about that a bit from a code perspective? Something we might look at? She's like,
that's
no.
all design, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's all design data.
Can we, design.
Can we make Jenn do it anyway?
Sure. We can
Sure, I'll put some random numbers.
I think even some of this
Don't
is
you
like
do
talking
that
about.
anyway?
I think some of this is maybe chatting about why lockouts were added and why there is value in
There you
maybe
go.
having that or potentially changing it.
Yeah. Would you like to talk about why we added them, or
Say no.
I can do it? I'll do it.
I'll
should
let you take it away.
Okay. So the thing, there were two things happening. One is we had some heroic adventures that were really, really easy, and people were doing those all the time. So we put a lot, we had something like 70% of the content we had built that just wasn't getting used, and that
Not awesome is a good
yeah.
official industry term.
Not awesome. It makes it, and it kind of, even though it's something you're choosing to do, it kind of limits the scope of what you're feeling in an expansion, and it also kind of narrows how big you feel the world is if you never go to parts of it. So, we wanted to kind of encourage people, and so doing the lockout and doing the daily bonus quests was the way we came up with to try to, move people around and not just get in the same, Creator 2.0 rut that people can find themselves in, because while it feels good when you're in it and you're like, I know this mission better than anybody, and I can get through this mission really fast, and some of the mystery of the game gets lost when that's all you're doing, which comes down to one of those top-down versus bottom-up viewpoints that is the toughest part of being a game designer versus being a game player.
And part of this too, I think, is the team's like on a fact-finding mission to look at like what do you guys play, what you not play, and if there's some stuff you don't like, we don't need lockout timers if we're doing the things we like to do and doing as best a job we can with balancing that kind of content. So we're going to be doing some digging and probably doing. We'll get into it a bit. There's another question about polling. We're going to start asking some questions. We're going to be doing fact finding on our side and data, and we're going to start looking at really not just what the designers want to do, but also what works, and even venture into things that we know and people have been asking for that are kind of models from maybe some other games might do, that are great ideas that seem like fun content. So it's kind of like everything's on the table as far as what we're going to do, and what we don't want to do is do things that we can pretty reliably say as much as possible with data we have, what isn't fun? Why would we waste our time and your time? So it's all about doing as best we can, not as best we can, doing what is fun with the data we have available. Very long-winded for we're looking at stuff. The next question is part of the Darkened Sea is Right, this is like
Yeah, it's a weird question. So it's another bit of the Darkened Sea launch thing. So just so people know, all these questions, we went on the forums, we went on Reddit, and I have the list of the questions that are kind of the things that people have been asking the most frequently. The last bit was how XP was changed in Heroic Adventures, added to the end, and not really on the mobs. The question is, are we going to look at that distribution of XP again that's in Heroic Adventures on mobs versus the reward at the end?
Yeah, there's definitely some problems with that. I know people have noticed that your XP bonus effects don't work super great when the experience is moved to the end, and also for mercenary experience, you don't get much of that. So I'd like to resolve those. But I do think it makes for a better situation where people are doing the whole adventure instead of cranking one up, AEing the mobs down or killing them otherwise as quickly as possible, shutting it down and launching again. At that point, it becomes just a mob spawn generator, and we don't really want to do that again and encourage that kind of behavior. Sorry.
Moving on, we've seen this come up a lot, and again, we've discussed this too. Will we see a new progression server? Will we see a server that's time locked at a certain expansion? The cool thing is the entire team's been talking about a progression server. That's one of the ongoing discussions we're going to have and hopefully wrap up in the next week or so. But it's less now about should we do a progression server. It's more about what kind of progression server would we want to do as a team. So that might be one of the things you may find in a poll coming up soon as we think about the options. I mean, the team's really energized. So, but what we really want feedback, and we feel like going in game to get the feedback is probably the best place to get it while you're playing the game. So. Yeah, do you guys want to speak to, I mean, there's just so many options.
Yeah, at this point, I think any progression server would be great. We have a bunch of different options that we're kind of looking at for flavor, and I'm perfectly open to, and I hope we do, ask the players which one of the options seems like the most interesting and the most compelling, and using that as one of our data points.
Do you want to say anything about it? Go ahead, Ed.
Ed has
we definitely want another one. It's a matter of what type and how long it takes to get that type available again. So
it's on the list of the bucket list of endless bucketness, right?
Yeah, it's
on the short list.
It's on the list.
Oh, for sure.
The list.
Yeah.
It's definitely something we want to do. We don't know exactly the form of it yet, but more about that will be coming out soon.
Yeah. Next question, hot zones. Will these change? Jonathan Caraker.
Yeah, we have been talking about for a while, and we can't commit to an exact time frame, but we'd like to create a system, kind of like the event system, whereby we can automate these so they change on their own. That requires little or no dev intervention to get in there by hand and do this. And though we want to do that again, I can't say exactly when that will occur.
Yeah, like I said, I don't want to be. I've asked these. We all want to say we're going to be doing all these things. It's very much an evaluating process right now and prioritizing. And part of that is over the weekend. There's been great feedback on the forums, and obviously these guys have been collecting feedback for a good long while now, and they're the experts. So we're just going to be sifting through it all. But it's like we're doing right now. It's kind of a list we're sharing. It's kind of awesome that your list and questions are very similar to what the hot topics are around here. Raiding, future raids. Yes, you want to talk about it a little bit?
Sure. I don't want to steal everyone else's thunder.
Do you want to do it, Ed?
Yes, have some.
Awesome.
We definitely know we're short at the top end right now. We've got some plans for new raids to go out. We don't know at this point when they'll happen, but or happen if you're from Earth and speak English. So we're not sure when they'll happen, but yes, that's definitely on our radar for things that should happen soon.
Yeah, and I know I mentioned it on the forums, and I certainly don't expect everyone in the stream has been on the forums, but we're not locked into the weekly, bi-weekly cadence initiative that was last year. It really is a reset, but we know at some point before an expansion launch, we'll probably do something. And as far as content, which I shouldn't assume is obvious to you, but these are diehard devs, so the goal is it's content. So we're going to be figuring out what we're going to release and when, and then of course we'll be sharing those plans. But we at least know we're with the March update. We've got the loot system. We're just giving you what we know are the known quantities at the moment, so stuff is coming. We're 100% committed, and more stuff is coming, obviously, with the expansion. And then we'll have our live content plans when we have our plans.
Yeah, as a quick addendum to that, a lot of the stuff that comes up every year has been set up and is ready to go. So the stuff like the Hardcore Heritage, the IRA raids, what else? I'm blanking. The holidays events, Death, Dragons, Giants. All that stuff is going to continue.
How original.
To be released. Yeah, it's like a theme there. and the anniversary stuff, which is going to be happening very soon. All that stuff will continue to launch. So we still will have regularly occurring events in EQ
that aren't piecemeal. At least for the anniversary events, it's not.
Yeah, and I mentioned on the forums, and you may have already seen it, we've consolidated a lot of stuff, so since we're not tied to the weekly cadence schedule, we were able to take stuff that was broken up into pieces, which might not have even been 50-50, it's like 40-40-30. We were able to take those and consolidate those into one launch and one time frame and one event. And I think that works better for kind of understanding what's going on, for having some expectation of what will be in game. You don't have to show up on a weekly basis and okay, well, there's going to be 7 events, but only 2 of them are up this week, and then 3 more launch next week, and I missed the one from 3 weeks ago. So I think it will be much easier to message and much easier to have the content consolidated like that.
Awesome. So we did raids. Are there new projects in EverQuest that the team wants to take on under Daybreak? It is a very long list, so absolutely yes. There's a lot of I don't want to overstate it by calling it innovating, but it's basically taking what EverQuest is good at and just making it awesome, as well as addressing some stuff that is just not awesome, including, again, it's not necessarily ironic that we're kind of all on the same page, but the UI was discussed this morning. I mean, it's a very broad conversation right now while we figure out exactly what our priorities are and where we want to spend our time, which is obviously to make the game amazing for all of you guys. So that's definitely the focus, and it's been an amazing conversation. It's been a lot of creativity and solutions, and again, there's just such a wealth of knowledge with these people that you have working on this game, and again, 100% dedicated and really creative solutions to some of the weird and not so awesome that may be out there, as well as just the incredible potential if we do the right things. So definitely a focus. Polling system question, will the polling system that's already in place be used more when decisions need to be discussed and quantified? I'll forget the end of that sentence. But yes, we're going to be using the polling. We're an inclusive team. We obviously want the feedback. It's 100% critical to what we do. The list of what our priorities currently are right now, which you've reflected in your questions, it should be evidence of that. But we're going to be basically crafting, because I consider them all geniuses, they're going to be crafting the genius, and then we're going to give some options to you. So we'll like, for example, progression servers. We're going to set the stage as something, I think we want to do that. But within that, they're going to control the options because they know what we're capable of technically, et cetera. There's going to be some, if we open it up too much, obviously, I'd probably, and until I get more familiar, will ask for things that just aren't feasible or even possible technically. So I'm being educated as well, but I think it'll be an exciting time just to see the variety of options. When we do settle on something like progression servers, there's just some really amazing creative ideas out of these guys. So yes, we'll be polling. I'm really long-winded today, but at least I'm not swearing. Do you want to talk about, I think it would be great. Well, Kevin, if you want to talk about the UI, just to talk about how it could maybe be better.
I think the best thing that can improve it is now that we've got almost 16 years using it, we've learned a thing or two about it. Simplicity is always the easiest way to improve navigation. So all those things are would be really good things to look at. Like I said, the best part is we've got all this experience doing it now. So I guess now we maybe know what it is we want.
Go ahead, Ed.
Well, I'm not a UI designer,
He's like,
but I'm sitting next
just
to him.
say do better. And I should say too, he's absolutely right. He isn't a UI designer, but the new team focus is like everyone gets involved in projects they're passionate about, whether or not it's Jenn as a programmer, she may want to be involved in some design elements. It's basically, again, taking that collective genius and making it work as a team, and we work what we're passionate on and identifying those things. So it's kind of it's amazing to me to hear everyone has input on everything because everyone is aware of the community, the issues, the stuff they want to do. It's really cool. It's not, quite often dev teams can get segmented in their approach with the art, design, and engineering people. I didn't forget your department. And, so there's a lot of, it's just amazing. It's almost like flat kind of development here. Seriously? There's a goose mount in the window.
So yeah, I think just real quick, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. But I did it anyway.
Fired. Yeah, no.
Oh man.
So
it seems like a lot of the stuff that we've done recently to improve the UI has been a big win for us. I think things like the ability to activate an activatable item within a bag instead of a top-level inventory slot.
We're all like, yeah.
And I know, yes.
Yeah.
And the ability to trade skill as many things as you can trade skill with the things that you have. Those were relatively simple UI changes, and I think they made a big impact on the game. I think those kinds of things are the types of UI changes we want to look at in order to make EQ more user-friendly.
Yeah, there were some great ideas this morning. Yeah, go ahead, Jenn.
And I just want to add to that, we're constantly wanting to know what small things can we add, because obviously the smaller things, we can very easily slip them in. It's like, oh, look over there. Okay, it's in now. So especially those small things, like the trade skill auto-create button and those small little things that you can just think of, absolutely. PM us, send them to us on the forums. That's the best way to get it out there to us directly, because we do read the forums every day. I know a lot of times we don't respond on the forums, but the entire team reads the forums every day.
The last question is, any plans to reevaluate what players without a membership have access to? Right now, we're just focused on the fun factor, what's right for the game, as far as content and making it an awesome game for players. We're not breaking it down at the membership level at this point. We just want to make sure we're focusing on the right plan for the game and for the players. So if we ever have news on that, you'll probably be looped in fairly early on, but right now our primary concern is content, getting the game the way these guys want to make it, the expansion shape and what it is, live content, bug fixing. We're 100% in it. Every single person on this team, and they're already working hard. It's why we only have a few of them here, because priority is getting the job done for you guys. Yeah, go team, go. Rye?
I'm just doing the Twitch chat over here. So I decided to jump in here at
Facebook
the end.
Yeah, are there any questions in the channel?
Yeah.
I mean, most people are just chatting about things. The only question that people are talking about timetables, and I mean, right now the team's just trying to hit the ground running. Like, we just have this big transition here. So the only thing is the people asking about with the timetables. What are the timetables for what's going on?
And that's even related to one of the questions that you asked us on the expansion and changing timeframes. There's no dates. Right now, we're obviously looking into up to the loot system game update, but it's all hands on deck, brainstorming, doing the right thing. You can assume we'll probably do some kind of monthly update. There's probably more than likely at least going to be bug fixes, and we'll be addressing things as we go forward. That's an ongoing commitment, so you can expect a monthly update. And there'll be some kind of content at some point, but we're way too early to commit. But as soon as we do have dates, you'll be the first to know.
Yeah, and I think we have some dates out there, like the new player design missions. We were aiming at March 16th still, right?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So March 16th for new player design missions. Those are ones that people from the previous 2 SOE Lives sat down with us and helped design. The new loot system, we were targeting, what would we say, March patch, April patch?
March
patch.
March.
April-ish. Yeah.
April-ish.
April-ish.
So once we have dates for that,
it's
we'll let
ready.
people know. But that's something that the team's definitely working on. Those things are on test server. We're looking for feedback. So we have versions of these ready to go. We just want to make sure before they go to live servers that they're actually really good. So
I don't know what you mean.
The player design missions will hit test 14 days before they go live. So if you want to log in to test on the 2nd and see them, they'll be there.
And as things pop up, we're just going to keep letting you guys know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we've been pretty good about having updates. Previously, we had been doing this since heading. We're talking about maybe doing things like this in news and announcements, so we make sure that those things hit the launch pad so people know when we have these updates for everybody. But just keeping people up to date, letting them know what our plan is, and making sure that you guys have opportunities to give us feedback. I know a comment we get is that there's not a lot of devs aren't posting as often as some people would like them to post on forums. That being said, just because we don't reply to every thread doesn't mean we didn't read it.
That is very true.
We're about a minute over right now. Do we want to chat about anything else here, or shout out to anybody?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I wanted to, confidential
go
to people who keep PMing me for answers, I, as a policy, don't answer PMs. I read them all. So, yes, I read it. But no, I'm not answering.
And I mean, one of the things about private messages, I think a better practice is getting these things in forum threads so people can have discussions about things. Is a much better way. So instead of us having these conversations one-on-one, like we can have these conversations with more people who are part of the community and let them know what's going on. And the community can talk about these things amongst themselves also. So it's not just all these one-on-one conversations happening all the time.
And if there's anything super horrifying that comes up on live, then I'll take personal emails. I'm sure any of these guys, I know I probably shouldn't advertise that, but I do. Because our commitment is it's a live game. We stay on top of stuff. We don't want to spread ourselves necessarily too thin contact-wise, so that we have some reliable places where you can reach us. And we'll probably get more of that information out. For me, my Twitter account is I don't want to say it because it makes me sad, because it's got EQ2 in the title, but I'm yours. It's at Windstalker EQ2, but it's more handy when I have Twitter. I'm on my phone all the time, so it's just convenient if you can ping me there if there's something horrifying happening. And there's been some good feedback and suggestions too, but like I said, Ryle do a great job of making sure that we get out the information and focus your feedback on getting in touch with the dev team. And we're going to hopefully be doing a bit more information sharing as we go forward. So we're looking forward to that too. I think just to be able to share thoughts and things that are happening on the team and addressing issues as they always have. And with that, we're really humbled and grateful for all the support we get from our fan sites because, we can't thank you enough. So some of the guys we want to call out, and these guys work with. There's a lot of closeness there, and we want to make sure that we give them a shout out. So FANRA, EQ Resource, EQ Traders, and ZAM. We love you guys, and thank you so much for your support. Please check them out if you don't already. They're incredible resources. In fact, we use them. Yeah. Anything else, Ray? That's
no, I mean, we're solid right now. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Cool. Isn't that great?
So appreciate everyone for tuning in. And yeah, we'll be on the forums.
See you in NORAD.